Do you feel that there is more to parenting than just managing your child's behavior? That you really want to be the guide for them and direct them towards living a meaningful and fulfilling life? In this episode, I'm speaking with Yehiel Harari, my mentor in Jewish wisdom. We explore the Ten Sefirot, the 10 attributes of the soul, or the 10 ways that the soul emanates through the body. Together, we break down these different attributes and unpack how understanding them can be a powerful tool for parents. Not just to direct your children's behavior, but to guide them on a soul level so they can live a life of true meaning and fulfillment. This is a part of a series of conversations we've recorded together exploring Jewish psychology. You'll find the links to those additional episodes in the show notes below. Now let's dive into this fascinating conversation. Welcome, Yehiel. I'm so happy to have you back on the
Great.
show. It's been a while. And today we're going to talk about something a little bit more spiritual, I guess. We talked about more practical things in the past, and today we're going to dive a little bit more into spirituality, but it's also very practical. That's what I love about this, right? Like all this world of Kabbalah, it's very spiritual, but also very practical for our lives.
For sure.
So let's talk a little bit about like an introduction to the 10 Sefirot, which is the 10 ways that, the 10 attributes of the soul, or the 10 ways that God animates the world,
Yeah.
or our soul animates the body, right? That's my understanding, which I've been learning with you, and I'm just so fascinated. And maybe we can try to explain to our listeners why it's important to know this as parents, because this is a parenting show, right? So how does that relate to our parenting?
Wow, I think it's the most important question that you can ask. And through the answer, you will see how practical it is. Even though
Yeah.
it's a little bit deep, how practical it is. Let's start with the problem. Maybe the Kabbalistic problem. The problem that Kabbalistic through the 16th, 17th century asked themselves. And they wanted to know how God animates, give life, how we create, how we handle, how we manifest its power, how we handle the world. We have a world, we have people, we have an unified world, like it seems to look like, and we have God. Okay, we believe in God. Where is He? How do we animate this world? How do we give life to the world? So the answer starts with, let's understand our life, the human being, how the soul animates the body. The same way God gives life to the world, the same way He animates, the same way He handles, the same way He, let's say, rule the world. It's the way that the soul rules the body. If you ever seen a dead man, yes, I spoke about 2 weeks ago. I went to a funeral of a soldier that was killed in the war, in the last war, a warrior in Sayeret Golani, a beautiful kid, Ori Ginsburg. And his parents said, they just called me I, in order that I will, recognize the body. And I saw my child, and it was so beautiful. It was so sweet. He had everything except for one thing. What he didn't have a soul that
Yeah.
animates him.
Yeah.
Something, and it was so hard to listen to him. He was like craving to his child, and he saw his child, and he wanted to give him a hug, last hug, and he couldn't understand how this body has it has a soul in a way. It has something that holds the body. Let's say it like that. But still, there is his son wasn't there. So the most important thing to understand that there is a soul that animates the body, that brings through its attributes a power to the body. So the question is how the soul do it. What kinds of ways it gives, what kinds of powers, what kind of interference, let's say, what kind of liveliness it gives to the body. That's the main questions. And the answer is through 10 Sefirot, as you said. 10 Sefirot, it's 10 attributes, 10 ways, 10 powers, let's say it like that, that through them, in in different specific ways and connections between the Sefirot and all kinds of ways that the Sefirot are engaged in one each other, it brings life to the body. And if the body will not, if the soul will not use those 10 Sefirot, we have more, but those are the more, let's say, the eternal powers, attributes that through them it animates the body. If the soul does not use them or does not use them correctly, we have some kind of a disease. Or at the end, lack of liveliness. Lack of liveliness, it's death. So that's the broad answer to your question. That's why when you understand, when someone feels a bit tired or in depression or it does not have, let's start with a practical point of view.
Yeah.
Or he feels that he has no power to take himself off the couch. That means that in some way the soul does not give enough, does not animate the body enough in the right way, with enough attributes, with the right amount of attributes. If, let's go to another example, if someone is very in stress and is very angry and is, full of like that means that he has too much attributes, too much animation, too much liveliness. So, you can call it liveliness, that tries to penetrate, to manifest, to project himself through the body, but it's very hard because the body cannot handle too much animation, too much liveliness. So the most important thing to a human being is to handle the amount or the correct size or ways that the soul attributes, the soul gives liveliness to the body. That's the most important thing that we have to understand. If we look at it, it's like think about a doctor that looks at a patient and the patient says, I'm suffering. Why you are suffering? Because my mother and I fought my wife and my children and I have stress and this and that and that. Doctor have no interest in all of those things. He has interest only in one thing. What? How the blood is running in your vessels. That's what's interesting. That's what we are learning now. We're trying to get inside, to have a panoramic point of view from the inside of the connection between the soul and the body. And when you understand that in a better way, you can understand how you want to live your life and why. When you think in a specific way, you can have anxiety. And when you think about what will happen, you are starting to get into fear. Why, when you feel that nobody gives you attention, you start to feel bad with yourself, anxiety or stress or depression or whatever. That's why it's so important to understand. So now we
Yeah.
understand the question and we understand, I think, what we want to know. And that's the most important thing in education and parenting. What is parenting? In this specific point of view, parenting is give your child the keys to control the way his soul animates the body. In that way, when the child understands why he's now suffering from sadness, so we understand that he has to bring another attribute into his life, into his body, in order that he will minimize this attribute of sadness and he will change it and he will overcome it. The more he will understand himself and the 10 Sefirot and the way the 10 Sefirot engage in one each other and project themselves in the body, the more he will be able to control his life. And the more you can teach your child this in a direct way, or through all kinds of explanations and examples and from external point of view, and the more you will be able to understand to teach him that, the more you'll be able to win every moment in you. And winning every moment in you, this is what you want from your child. That way he will be able to concentrate, to learn, to know how to put himself in a happy, let's say, to be happy. Let's
Yeah.
rephrase it: to be happy, or to understand life, or not to suffer from emptiness, or whatever. Okay.
So just I want to make something clear here, because you said that when the soul doesn't emanate the body in the correct way, then what we see is disease. But it can be medical disease, like really physical, but mostly what we're talking about here is more like the mental issues that we're dealing with, like anger, anxiety, depression, lack of motivation, ADHD, and all these
I
things.
will add, there is no, according to Jewish psychology, there is no a physical disease without a mental issue,
Mhm.
without a mental source, without a mental reason. If somebody is suffering from, he's eating too bad and that's why he's having the disease, there is a source for that. Why do you neglect your body? Why do you junk all day? And why you cannot, say no to food that makes you feel terrible? And if someone is not doing a sport or is not, keeping fit or whatever, there is a source for that.
Yeah.
And the source is always mental. I'm trying to say that almost always, even if I'll go to, I'll go far fetch, even you are falling, you're doing an accident, or you fall from somewhere, you lost attention for a moment, and the accident happened. You lost attention for a moment. Something
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
You didn't animate the body with the right attention. You didn't. You weren't in the moment. Your mind was there in another place and you were here. That's why you lost attention. That's why you felt. That's the reason. So there is always a spiritual source, always a mental source that you want to change it. Maimonides says, it says it beautifully, that if you'll keep my advices, if you'll walk in this path, you will never, I assure you that you will never be healed,
Mhm.
because the body is not meant to be healed. It's meant to die at the end, of course, but not to be healed. But if you are not animating in the right way, that's like. Let's give an example that it will be clear. If you cannot manage your pleasure attribute, and you always like to be in pleasure, so that means you always eat the chocolate. So it's very hard for you to say no to the chocolate. At the end, you will have diabetes. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's like you must know how to say no. And diabetes does not start. It starts 1 years before the disease happens. It starts when you are 20 or when you're 15, when you are 12. If you won't do it when you are 10, and you will let your children eat whatever they like, and you won't encourage them to control the pleasure that manifests itself through the taste, but through also what you touch. And if you don't know how to walk in the darkness, then you will always look for pleasure. At the end, you won't be able to overcome difficulties or hard times or harsh things in life. So and the disease will come, or you lose money, or you won't be able to reveal your inner powers. Revealing your inner powers means revealing your attributes in the right way. That's revealing your inner powers. That's the most important thing. And it's not easy, because what we have to do is to understand the attributes, what each attributes, how it acts, how it works, and what are the connections between the different attributes, the different sefirot, and what is the right way that attributes manifest itself, and what is the wrong way, the dangerous way, that when it manifests itself like that, it could be that it will take you down and you will pay a price, because attributes, as we said, are powers that comes from the soul that and animates the body. And each each sphera want to control, to be alone, to control, and to illuminate more.
Mhm.
When I want to love. I don't want any. I have a tendency to be grateful and to give and to love. I cannot stand someone who is very strict. It's very hard for me. And if I want to spend money, and my husband tell me, no, we have to be strict, it's very hard for me. And because it's very hard for me, it's very hard to one attribute to accept another. So in order to do that, it's like you have to learn a lot the Sefirot and the way they engage and what you have to do in order to minimize them and to make them project together.
Yeah. So can you give us like a taste of what these attributes are, just so we have our listeners have an idea of what we're talking about here?
Of course, let's speak about, you can see the Sefirot from, you can divide them to 3 or 4. I'm thinking about how deep to get in. That's why I'm saying 3 or 4. There are those Sefirot attributes that are connected to the intellect.
Mhm.
We have 3 of them. And the more you reveal them in the right way, it's the more that you fulfill your potential or reveal your inner potential that is connected to the intellect. The intellect is a bit objective. It means the way I understand the world, the way I'm connected to things, the way I'm trying to understand new things, the way I curious. That's a very important thing to reveal rightly your to use your mind, to use your intellect. Without using the intellect right, that means you are not you're not bringing yourself to a point that you are living fully life and your emotions controls you. So the first thing that the first part of the Sefirot that we're talking about are the intellect. That those are the 3 Sefirot that are connected to the intellect. The second part, the second layer that we're speaking about, it's the most important layer, are the Sefirot who are connected to the emotions. Here
Mhm.
we have about, let's say, 6 or 7, it depends, 6 Sefirot that are connected to the emotions, that connected. They are the emotions. In each emotion, we have the engine and we have the way the emotion manifests itself. That
Mhm.
means when I want now to eat the chocolate, I have an inner engine that says to me, okay, I need something. And I have this external connections to the cake that now I want to eat the cake. So it's like when I'm angry, I'm looking to be angry. There is something for me. It's in Hebrew, it's called koach hamitaveh, the power that push you, the power that want to connect you for something. And it's very important to understand the Sefirot. In this point of view, the Sefirot and the emotions as a role. What is the roles of the emotions? As we said, I think a few times ago when he spoke, the role is to connect you. The Sefirot, I have my soul. It's my soul. It's like the place that it's me, but it's me without any identity, without nothing that I'm doing. I'm connected only to myself. It's the essence of the soul. And the attributes are the way the soul manifests itself. So that means that the soul, what does it mean manifest itself? That it wants to get out, it wants to be connected. So the mind helps me understand things that are external, helps me understand the world. The mind, the intellect, give me a perspective of what I see without understanding, without interpretation, without looking for breaking boundaries. You know, we are walking with boundaries. We have a boundary. Through that, it's the glasses of interpretation that we have. Through that, we understand the world, and then we break it a little bit in order to understand more, in order to bring more light, in order to have a different perspective. And now, when we are doing that, we have like nekudat chokhmah. We'll talk about it in a moment. The wisdom gives me another glimpse to see more things. So we have the intellect that helps me understand the world, and now we have the emotion that helps me feel the external things and to be connected to them, connected or unconnected, as we spoke
Mhm.
about the emotions. So the emotions, the 7 emotions, push me outside of myself to feel something. Okay, when I have emotion, I care. When I ate something, when I ate someone, I care about him. When I feel someone, I care about him. When I want to talk with someone, I care about him. If I don't have any emotion in the directions of something, I don't care about this something. Above the intellect and the emotions, we have the surrounder, the what you can call superconscious, and it's the will and the pleasure. We'll talk about them, I think, in a different episode. The will and the pleasure are very important, but they are not like powers, they are not like attributes that comes from the soul and then animates the body, because they do not animate directly in an inner way. They are external. What does it mean? Pleasure can project itself in each level of your life, in, as we said before, in what you eat, in what you feel, in the way you think, in everything. It's not like you say there is pleasure only in eating. There's pleasure in eating. You eat too much, there is no more pleasure. So I'll find pleasure in other things. There's pleasure in sleeping. There's pleasure in being awake. There is pleasure in life. There is will. What is will? okay, it's a different conversation, but will does not animates in a direct way. It's like it's a broader. It's you will find your will. It's like a direction. It's like an arrow that directs all the sefirot to some place. Without will, I don't want this thing. I'm not connected to him. So will, it's like the arrow that said, okay, let's reveal our attributes in this direction.
Mhm.
If I don't have will, it's like a connection to someone. Without will, I don't want this thing. I don't care about it. When I have will, even if I don't want, it's better than I don't care. I don't want that. That means I'm trying to use to reveal my attributes in a different way. The most
Mhm.
important power with difficulty or issue with children, I think, is that they don't have the right will.
Mhm.
Without the right will, you can see a wonderful teenage who everything does correctly and is a great in everything, but it does not have a will to be better, to do greater things, to learn more, to understand more. It does not have curiosity. So what's the result? That is, is minimize himself and is suffering from mediocrity, let's say like that, or being in
Yeah.
the middle or without. So that's so the more we will have will, the more we will have like an arrow that will not push him, but will direct him to specific goals. Wanted
Yeah.
to ask something.
Yeah. So we talked
We
about
didn't finish the four
the
layers. We
fourth,
spoke about
right?
three. We spoke about three. We spoke about the intellectual. We spoke about the emotions, and we spoke about the super conscious. It's called in the Kabbalistic literature. It's called the crown.
Mhm.
The will and the pleasure called the crown.
It's like the surrounding, right? We say
Mm.
it's the surrounding
Yeah.
forces. So we have the emotional forces that are in our body, those
Mhm.
seven,
They are
six.
not in the body. They are in the soul. The soul,
They're in the
like
soul, but they're
train.
emanating the body,
That's it.
and they manifest themselves as emotions.
Mhm.
And then we have the intellect, the three intellectual forces, and we have the external, the surrounding forces that are in the crown. And when the intellect and the crown are strong enough, then they are able to direct the emotional forces, right? So
Mhm. That's
is it,
that's a one most important point, very important point.
and so as parents, I think that our biggest role is to help with these parts, like with the intellectual part of our children and with directing their will into the right direction. Because if my
Mhm.
child, the only thing that he wants is to buy more things, like
Mhm.
that's the most important thing. So he's directing all his forces towards the wrong thing.
That's beautiful.
So we have to influence our children and to show them what is the right direction. That is, I think, that is the most important thing, that the most important influence that we can have, to teach them what is a good way to spend your time, what isn't a good way to spend your time, and to have that influence on them.
I don't know if show them it's the right word because you can show a child and it will choose differently. Help them choose maybe in the way that they will find it in the best. Let's rephrase it. Anyway, I agree with you. It's so hard, the emotions, because they can be so strong, and they are stronger from the mind because their source is so strong. Why? Because when I have emotions, the seven emotions, it's a lot about me. I want to feel emotions. The word emotions is like feeling. There must be someone that feels. The intellect, you need it. You need a little bit me. Without me, the me is the engine because I want to feel, I want to be, I want to do, I want to buy. The ego, as Freud called it, even though used it in different ways. The ego, if you have too much ego, it will kill you. If you have ego, is or emotions. If you have too much emotions that you cannot control them and they manifest themselves in a strong way, it's very hard for you to live. But if you have the right emotions in the right way that listen to, as you said, to the mind, to the intellect, and to the crown, to the will and the pleasure, the will comes from the pleasure. Why I want things? Because there is pleasure in it. Without pleasure, I won't do it. It's like doing something. I told someone, it's just, a side I told someone she's teaching businesses how to succeed more, and I told her it's not about the money; it's about the pleasure. Because the honor that a businessman that does not have pleasure in what he's doing, and he does not know how to give his customers the pleasure in using the product that he gives. Doesn't matter what this product. So he won't continue, even if he'll have the money, and they won't buy and won't enjoy. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a restaurant. The owner should be a pleasure as well as the people that are eating there, because the customers, if they are not enjoying, they won't come. The
Yeah.
the the owner, if he does not find the pleasure, it won't continue. And pleasure, it's not like
And it's
sitting
different
and
pleasure also because we are, our children are feeling pleasure all day long, right? They're having pleasure when they're playing video
it's not
games, watching
dopamine.
TV. What?
Pleasure is not dopamine.
Exactly. So we're talking about a different type of
Yeah,
pleasure, and
yeah,
we want to show our kids that there is pleasure in something else. It's
yeah.
not
That's
in
right.
what they think it is, not the things that are coming easy with like eating candy, watching TV, and playing
For
video
sure.
games. But we have to show them, we have to expose them to that different type of pleasure. So can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's very hard for us, not for only for the
Yeah.
children, to
Yeah.
understand that having good relationship through the years, like having a 30, 40 years relationship, it's more pleasurable than, walking on the beach and being free and letting yourself. It's very hard to explain it. It's explained to someone that it's more pleasurable to go out to run than to sit on the couch all day. It's
Hmm.
very hard, because it says that pleasure, because it's so strong power, as you said before, that does not penetrate into the body, but it's like it's surrounding me. There is no pleasure in, I think it's a different conversation, but there is no pleasure in coffee, but you want to find pleasure in life. So you are like throwing your inner pleasure in order to find it in something that will addict you. If there was no pleasure in drinking coffee or smoking cigarettes, people will want do that. But I want to teach you what you want to teach the child, that there is pleasure without coffee, without cigarette. Let's say with that. I'm drinking coffee and saying without coffee, without cigarette. Why? Because you can feel pleasure. What is pleasure? Let's start with that. Pleasure is the ability, the human being ability not to be in another place, to be in this place and to want to be in this place. It's like sweetness of what you are doing. And the sweetness is connected. Uh, 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 Rectified pleasure is when you are doing something and you rectify something, you correct it, you are discovering it, it improves you. It's like a good pleasure comes after you worked very hard. Without working hard, there is no real pleasure. Shabbos, it's very sweet after you walked hard through the 6 days. Without that, it's not pleasurable. It starts from from a major question, why the creator created the world. And he thought that he will have pleasure if he'll build this world, if he'll create this world every moment he's creating it. So without having pleasure, he has no reason for creation. Without thinking about, relationship start with the pleasure that man and woman think that we'll have from this relationship. That's why God thought that without the pleasure, people will want to bring children to the world. So want to to have relationship. So he gave us the pleasure, and a very mundane pleasure, and it's very sacred, and it's very very important. It's very high pleasure. So pleasure is your ability to feel that you are in the right place, that you are doing the right thing, and you are discovering more and more, and doing more and more. Pleasure that does not, you don't feel that you are developing yourself through it. It's a false messiah. What does it mean,
Yeah.
false messiah? It takes you places that instead of bringing you power, and the whole idea of pleasure is creating a vessel in order that you will improve yourself in whatever you're doing. Think about it. Pleasure in learning will make you a high learner, a better learner, a person that understands more. Without pleasure, through understanding, you are learning a lot about now. You told me why? Because you find pleasure in it. Without
Hmm.
pleasure and curiosity, it's part of having pleasure. I want to know more. I want only this. It's so pleasurable. So without pleasure, or let's rephrase it, pleasure helps you develop your vessels to understand more. So pleasure in learning and being a better football player. If you don't have pleasure and you just want the applause,
Yeah.
you won't succeed. You must find pleasure. So pleasure that does not develop yourself, it's a false messiah. It's very destructive. It could take you to bad places. Pleasure that that you work very hard in order to achieve it, and it helps you develop yourself. You must find pleasure in life, in what you're doing. A person that goes to work and does not find pleasure in it, at the end, he will lose his work, or he'll suffer from stress and anxiety. And anxiety, it's not about how much you are doing. It's about how much, whatever you are doing, you are being able to concentrate in what you're doing and to find this is the thing that I want to do now. Even though I have so many things, think about prime minister. He has so many things to do, but you find pleasure. You can see it in every moment, in controlling, in doing, in understanding, in giving advices, in giving commands, whatever, doesn't matter. Without finding it pleasurable, you will leave it. The same
Yeah.
as you. I think if I may add, it's the most important thing in social media, because a lot of people have
Mhm.
so many podcasts, so many people are trying, to bring content to the world, and it's so good. It's blessed. It's a blessed thing, because people want to be more, to find more ideas, notions, initiative to develop themselves. But after 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 episodes, 10 chapters, they stop. Why? Because they think about the result, they think about the people that will listen to them or do not listen to them, they think about they didn't get any likes or whatever. If you think about the pleasure of doing the stuff, I have pleasure in studying and teaching. That's the thing. I
Yeah.
don't care if there will be even. I care. I want, but it's not the major thing that motivates me.
Yeah. I think this is so powerful because it gives us an idea of what is the strongest way that we can lead our children. And
Yeah.
so if we only stay in that emotional piece, if we're trying to influence them emotionally,
Mhm.
that is like the the lowest way that we can do
You
it,
will
right?
fail. That's
You will
beautiful.
fail.
You're fair.
It may succeed in the short term, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
If your child is fearful of you, let's say,
That's
it
it.
you can hold this for a few years, maybe till they turn 12, 13, 14, and then it will burst, it will collapse. And then the second level is how you can influence their mind, the way that they're thinking about things, help them understand, develop their intellect. But the strongest way is actually to show them where their pleasure is and to
Mhm.
direct them to that right type of pleasure, because
Mm.
from there they will get that inner motivation. We want to do good things, to be good people, to serve the world in a good way. We want them to want that. And that only comes when we are exposing them to that type of pleasure, the
Uh,
highest type of pleasure.
I think it's beautiful what you said, because it's if we're thinking about how to test teachers at the end of the year, or a principal, how to test him, how to see if he was a good teacher or not, or a parent, if he was a good parent or not. Okay, you must bring your children, food and shelter or whatever. It's the obvious thing, but the most important thing is not if you screamed or didn't. It's if what you said before. If you taught them to find pleasure in the right things, if you taught them to find pleasure in learning, and that means that at the end of the year, I remember when I was 17, we finished high school and we had tests, and few minutes after I finished my last test, it was like bagrut. How do you call it in the United States? It's like
Yeah. Final tests, I guess, in high school.
we took all the notebooks and we burned them all. Wow, we finished, yeah. And now I think about it, it's horrible. Why? Because the right way, when you finish to learn something, you want to cherish what you learn. If you had pleasure in it, if the teacher knew how to teach you how to find pleasure in what you learn, so the notebook of chemistry was something that I want to cherish and look at on it in it after a few years and to learn more. That's the test. If I have pleasure in something, I want to learn more from that. If I'm doing it, you know what conceal pleasure, what prevent me from finding real pleasure in what I'm doing, the right pleasure, as we talked to, interest. Why?
Mm.
Because I'm doing something because of interest and not because of the thing itself. When you have pleasure in something, you don't ask questions, you want to do it. And then you'll make more money because you're doing it, because you're doing something, you're all in it, you have passion to it, you feel it, you want to be in it. You are not doing only for the money. But people notice that when you have passion to what you're doing, when you're all in. It's like all in, yes we can. It's like if people feel that and they want to be a part of the journey of what you're selling, of the product of, and when they do not feel that, they feel it's like when you have interest, I'm doing something only to make money or only to achieve that my parents won't shout of on me because
Mm.
I'm doing homework, so I have to finish that and to go out. That's it. So what's the result? That I don't really want to do homework. So the minute I will be able not to do homework, I won't do that anymore. I'll run away. I want to be free. So, pleasure means that you find freedom through what you are doing. That means you have to discover also the emotions and also the intellect. This is the major question that we have to think about. How do you discover the right pleasure in order that it won't be a false messiah? How do you find pleasure that will push you and you'll find the right things? How can you be the right teacher or parent that teach children to find pleasure in learning, in growing, in being bringing goodness to the world? And that's another question if you
Yes.
want to ask it.
Yes. All right. Yes, I think we have a lot of food for thought.
Mhm.
And thank you so much. It's very powerful ideas, and I think that we should definitely, dive deeper into them and understand how we actually, help our kids and direct them towards that good type of pleasure.
I think we should summarize maybe a little bit where we are.
Hmm.
So in the next time we will be able to continue from that. We spoke about the attributes that
Hmm.
comes from the soul and animates the body, and we
Oh, we
said that there
didn't
are.
speak about the fourth one. We said the
Yeah, the
three.
fourth one are the way the attributes that we talked about, the crown, the pleasure and the will that are connected together, and the intellect and the emotions are are being really revealed to you. And this is the last one. How do you know that you love your spouse, your husband? How do you know? How do you know that you love something, that you have passion to it? How do you know?
Because you want to connect to it?
Yeah, okay. Sometimes I need to connect to iOS because I want
Because of what you're doing, because your actions, I guess, because
okay.
the way that you act in the world.
There are three ways that I know. How do I know that I love my wife? There are three ways. When I think about her, if I don't think about her, that means I don't feel very much. It's hard to say. If you don't think about your wife, maybe you're less loving her. I don't want to say you're not loving her, but less. Why? Because the emotions want to reveal themselves where? In the thoughts. And if you're not thinking about something, that means you love something else, or you're bothered with something else, or you're doing something else. That means you're not really in love with your wife, or whatever you're doing. Love, it's one emotion, one feeling. There is a difference between emotion and feeling. We won't use it now, but so there are this last layer of thoughts. It's called the garments, the clothes, the way I reveal my emotions and my intellect. It's called the thoughts, the speech, the way what I speak, and the way I act. Through my acts, as you said before, through my speech, I reveal my inner emotions. That means then uh, when I'm revealing my emotions, in order to understand them correctly, I need to understand what is going on in my thoughts.
Hmm.
And through navigating my thoughts, I am controlling my emotions. That's the idea. So it's a very powerful idea. So let's summarize it, we had four layers. One layer was the crown, as we said, the emotion, the will and pleasure. The second one was the intellect. In the intellect, we have three major attributes that control, that are the together manifests the intellect. Chokhmah bin Avdat, we'll speak about them. And we have the emotions, which are the most important part in our life because they are the strongest one. And we want to navigate them in the right measure so they won't be so hard. So we have the emotions, and we have the last one, the garments. The garments are the thoughts, the acts, and the speech that they reveal what is going on from the soul through all this process from the soul to the body.
Amazing.
Yeah, great. I
All right.
know it's not easy, but at the end, the whole construction, maybe we'll use a board or something like that. At the end, this whole constructions, it's very clear. The more you get into it, you understand it, and it's the most fundamental ideas in Kabbalah, in Jewish mysticism. I don't know why they call it mysticism because it's very practical ideas that helps
Yeah,
you understand yourself. And when you last sentence, when you understand that, you can understand the way the creator creates the world. He's also using those four layers in order to create the
exactly.
world in a different way. But then you understand the way he reveal himself or create the words, the all the layers of the words of the world.
Yes, and it gives you this map, really a map of
Mm.
understanding yourself, a map of understanding your child, and it gives you so much practical tools on how to use that in order to really elevate them, right? Like your book, The Art of Elevation, which is the art of parenting, the art of elevation, to elevate them and to direct them to the right way.
Great.
Thank you so much, Yehiel.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.